And hello, everybody! Aether Solora here with the Rustic Nerd. Oh my gosh, I have the thingy showing. There we go. I had to mute it. I was like, oh no. Let's see, and then we're turning that down. There we go. Oh my god, I'm so sorry, guys, for that whole lapse right there. Scared me. But let's start. Aether Solora here, interviewing Tyler, or known as the Rustic Nerd Dad, correct?
Yep, that is correct.
So, be here. I'm glad that you were able to make it. Everything going well at home with everybody?
Absolutely.
That's awesome. Great. Awesome. And today, I'm going to be asking like how everybody has, in the interview says, how did you get into cosplay? What are you actually doing in the cosplay community? You're a photographer from what you told me, and then from the beginning to the end of when you first started to now, and what got you onto the fields of knowing what cosplay was?
Well, I've been cosplaying for probably over 2 decades. I honestly can say I didn't even know what cosplay was until about a decade ago, like the actual name. But I can easily say that I was cosplaying for 2 decades. I'm just in the spirit of it and like what people do. So I describe myself as like a closet cosplayer in the sense of, to be honest with you, I've only ever been to one convention. There was a very small con called, I believe it was QuinnyCon, again, almost a decade ago in Belleville, Ontario, Canada. Ooh. And but yeah, that's the only con I've been to. Otherwise, most of the stuff I've done at home. I've done with my family or myself, and I've kind of like honed like my personal craft over the years. So I did a lot of stuff ages ago where I'd order a lot of my costume stuff, like a lot of people do, from like overseas. There's a Link cosplay costume that I wore that I kind of shared out there years ago. That was one of those costumes, that I got from overseas. And I've always had like an interest in like the film industry. And as much as I liked the costume, I always felt I could do better. I felt that, I could get my hands into something, maybe not necessarily sewing, because I'm not going to lie, that is definitely not my strong suit. That's something that thankfully my wife has decided to delve into and get a lot better at. But I was really interested in sculpting.
Ooh.
So one of the first things I did, actually when I was up north in Canada, I watched a lot of YouTube videos on sculpting and mold making, and I didn't really get a chance to apply what I learned, but I kept that knowledge with me. So when I initially moved to the United States, through the immigration process that I was part of, I couldn't work for a year. So I needed to find myself a hobby.
Right?
So in that time of me not being able to work, I started to learn how to use products from like Smooth On, how to use the silicone molds to do brush on molds, box molds, cast things in different resins, urethane rubbers, and all that fun stuff. And which eventually led me to I actually ended up purchasing my first master from a decently known creator. He went by the name Bryn Londo, who had actually created one of the Batman chess pieces for the Bat in the Sun Superpower Beatdown.
Okay, so, dang.
So I had actually bought the master for the chess piece that he created, and I started making latex casts of that chess piece. And it was just a little side gig I was able to do for a while, and I ended up flipping that to a Red Hood style. So a lot of people out there in the cosplay community, believe it or not, there's a pretty good chance they have a Red Hood chess piece that I had created at one point or another.
Very dope.
Yeah, so I've learned a lot. My wife actually is the one that does some of our photography stuff together. But I ended up, I had started Iron Lion Effects, and I had actually ended up giving everything to, well, not giving, but selling everything to a buddy of mine who now runs it. But I'm kind of around to help him. So yeah, I definitely kind of a shout out here. Definitely check out Iron Light Effects if you can.
And make sure we'll get that link in the description if we can here towards the end after I get the video up. Definitely give them a shout out, follow them up.
Yeah, but I'm kind of doing more like content creation now. I'm on TikTok, YouTube, Facebook. As I started to grow my family, I just wanted to be more family oriented. I wanted to spend more time with my family. So in the last while, I've been really, looking at how I can take cosplay to the next level.
Right.
So a buddy of mine that now lives in Florida, his name's Josh Strong. I believe his handle is called Strong in Costume.
That sounds very familiar, actually. Like, that does sound familiar.
He's actually on one of the Disney Plus shows for a zombie Captain America thing that he did. Yeah.
That's crazy!
He's pretty awesome, but I really look to him and his family and what they do together as a family unit for cosplay. They do amazing work, so again, I highly recommend checking them out. So as a family for us, I've got a son who's turning 5 this year, a daughter that's turning 2, and then my wife and I, we're trying to do things together. So, for instance, this year we're working on a Mandalorian. So, as you can see behind me, I'm pretty big on Star Wars.
Dude.
You can see my wife's Bo-Katan helmet behind me. I've got, of course, the Din Djarin helmet, but that's not what I'm doing. I'm going to be 3D printing a scaled down Din Djarin helmet for my son, so we're going to do that for him. I'm just going to do the Death Watch. That's going to be what I'm doing. My daughter, we were going to do the armor, but she's still kind of not sure about masks yet. So we're going to do a foundling. And my father-in-law, we're going to get him set up in the re-armored Boba Fett.
Okay.
So we got the helmet there behind me. So, yeah, we've done a lot of, growing as a family unit too. My father-in-law, he's got a lot of body work experience and paint experience behind him. So we've done things like, we made this Red Hood helmet for my son.
Everybody's wondering, like, I'm looking at the monitor over here, guys. I'm like, oh my god, that's so cool.
This is kind of a prototype, for my son that we ended up doing. He ended up wearing it for Halloween one year. It was a really fun experience, to take the paintwork to the next level with
That's
my father-in-law's
good.
experience. So, especially when it comes to our group projects, there's going to be a lot of fun stuff. But the biggest advice, I can give people from the experience I've had over 2 decades is, if you've got friends that are interested, try to do as much as a group as possible. You have so much fun just kind of learning what other people's skill sets are and being able to completely elevate
and increase the skill matter that everybody brings.
Your cosplay work as a group. I was so used to doing a lot of things on my own for the first while, so I'm not gonna lie, I was very, I didn't want people meddling with what I was doing.
True. Been there, done it. I know how it is.
Once you open up and you can kind of really learn other people's skill sets and how they can, you can help them and them help you. And not just as a family unit, like, my buddy Josh in Florida, back and forth. Like, he's big into Batman. I've been in and out of Batman stuff over the years. But him and I have, traded cowls, we've traded different costume pieces over time to help each other out or, sell each other's stuff, just to, save a buck or, just take it to the next level. So I think it's really important, to make those connections with people, and again, just do what you can to help each other out in the community. It's a big thing, and I've loved to see. I've absolutely loved seeing how much it's grown.
Right.
Because, like I said, like when I started, I didn't even I did it, but I didn't actually know that there was like a name for it.
Right.
Just because I was doing everything on my own. But I'm trying to keep things pretty respectful for your time, so I don't want to.
Oh no, you're fine, dude. Don't worry. If it if it gets close to the next interview, I'm like, okay, we gotta hurry, type thing. As I have to respect that person's interview as well.
Absolutely.
I have a timer right here, so you're good.
Kind of a hint on big things I'm working on here. Just so
I mean, you got a green thumb on over there.
Yeah. But no, what actually got me into, really got me into cosplay is one of my first big jobs was working for Walmart. And
I hear this a lot.
Yeah. And I, at the time, I was really, really into Pirates of the Caribbean. And I absolutely loved it. And I made a replica costume, or pieced together, I should say, a replica costume of Johnny Depp's costume from the first film. And I was still kind of doing short films on the side and just doing little, artsy feelers and stuff like that for just the film in general. And somebody that I work with saw a picture of me as Jack, and they're like, have you ever thought of doing birthday parties or raising money?
There's a lot of people who do that, honestly. It's pretty cool.
There's a lot of people that do. And I was like, no, it's something that I kind of do for me at that time. I was like, it's something that I could do creatively to just kind of chill and just kind of be creative. And they came back to me about a week later, and they're like, well, we have a charity thing coming up at work. Would you be open to dressing up as Jack for that charity? And it was for CMN, so the Children's Miracle Network, for the Sick Kids Foundation in Canada. And I was like, you know what? I was like, let's do it. It's like, it's for sick kids. I want to do what I can to help. Let's just do it.
All right. And honestly, that's really cool that you did.
Yeah. And so it was supposed to be a one-day, not even a full day, just a couple-hour adventure thing. People come in, get pictures taken. They make a donation for the picture. And what ended up as a couple-hour thing ended up being a full day, and then it ended up trickling into the Sunday. And it was just a big thing. They added, they were talking about it on the radio. They were sending people to Walmart over the radio.
Oh my!
People were calling in to see if I was still there.
Oh my gosh, that's cool.
I was just like, what in the heck is happening right now?
You're becoming famous.
Yeah, I was like, what the? It was just a really, it was just a really odd experience, but a joyful experience. We ended up raising well over $1,000 in that weekend for sick kids, and it was just a very proud thing. I was like, I felt like I could actually contribute in a positive manner. So I've always held on to that. And I always say, if you ever have the opportunity to help out, do it.
Definitely.
Absolutely. It's life-changing, great experience. I highly recommend.
That's 1,000,000% yes right there, honestly. Yeah. And if it's something as other people don't know how to get into, you could call up the facilities and be like, hey, I do this. Or you could as easily go in and ask in person. But make sure you bring some examples in, on your phone, and just hey, this is my Facebook, this is my email, things like that. And when you approach doesn't matter what business, hospital, fundraiser, all of it, when you bring in the receipts, the facts, the evidence, and you're being very serious about it, they'll take you more serious than hey, I'm just some cosplayer. If you guys want to call me up, type thing, I can do this. Okay, what do you do? Oh, I didn't bring anything with me. Oh, no, do you have any pictures? I've been there. I've done this silly mistakes here and there. It's just But
you live and you learn. You live and you learn. You really do.
Right.
You know, there was a point when a buddy of mine that was a writer, we were actually going to do a web series, a Batman web series, which there are so many good ones out there now. But we were writing a Batman web series that we were doing. Actually, one of the pictures I sent you.
I actually pulled it up because I was going to say, hey, let's go ahead and move on. There is the actual Batman looking down like this. Brooding.
I think the one I sent is actually the poster, though. I sent you one of the posters. I think it's the Joker one.
Okay.
It's my wife actually had made a series of posters. I didn't send you the whole set, but I sent you the Joker one because I love it so much. But basically, we did a fun photo set.
Yep, I got it right here. If you gotta go with a smile.
Yeah, we were building this photo set for this web series we were doing, and there's only one character that we did in this poster set. I might have sent this one too. Was a Deathstroke.
I did see the Deathstroke. Yeah.
Yeah, he was the only one that we have the full face showing, and that was actually for a specific reason to the story. The rest of the characters, not just because they're all me, but we weren't showing anything for the face, mainly because just for intrigue, like to draw people's attention in. But we had a plan for a 4-season web series, and we were actually going to have a trilogy of short films connected to that web series after. It's something that I'd love to tackle maybe in the next, before I'm 40.
So my bones aren't all decrepit right at that point.
But yeah, that's something that I might revisit. My buddy Stephen Wilson, who is penning the script, he was doing an amazing job. Basically, I was laying the groundwork and he was penning it, and just a lot of stuff that I think the general DC fandom would love to see.
Yeah.
Not just straight up fan service, but intriguing story with it.
Yeah.
And now that I'm a bit older, because again, this was about a decade ago that we were writing this. And a decade later, with a lot of my experience, not just with cosplay, but making things and just seeing what people have been asking for, just with the general films we've been seeing, through the Snyderverse, coming with the new Matt Reeves, the Batman film that's coming. A lot of the DC stuff out there, I've been really paying attention to what people have been looking for, and I'm like, man, we were sitting on a gold mine, like with the ideas and the pen of this.
Right, like the What If series or anything that listen to the audience, essentially. It'll make such an impact to everybody's creation. Or creative thought. There we go. I'm like, wait.
Yeah, the creative thought. Yeah. There's so much out there that people have been asking for, and it's funny how the big studios completely miss it.
Right.
So
they don't want to listen.
I'm just completely taken back, because what we had written a decade ago easily would have
done so well back then.
Yeah. So it's something that I'm definitely considering tackling again before I'm 40. Even if I'm not in it, I don't care. We're gonna try to produce it at some level.
Right.
But yeah, as a cosplayer, if you have that drive to do something, do it. Obviously you can't make money from it.
Unless you're hired to do so, that's a different story.
Right, but if you want to do something out there as a fan film, if you've got the right people with you, do it. It's a fun experience. I did a fun Star Wars fan film when I was in high school. It's hot garbage. I'm not gonna lie, it's hot garbage. I mean,
We all start somewhere, folks. We all start somewhere.
But that's the thing. You got to take your creativity and start somewhere.
Right.
So, you know, if you're a cosplayer and you have that inkling of doing something fun like that, do it. It is the most fun you will ever have. Like, I still talk to people about my high school experience. Again, it was hot garbage, but like we were filming stuff. We were filming these winter scenes. Basically, I was a Sith training, or we were doing a Darth Bane thing, so basically I was his Sith master. I don't have any pictures of that, unfortunately. But you know, we did this winter fight scene. It was way below zero, probably like minus 20, not a word of a lie. But I was out there, fingerless gloves, full like Sith outfit. I'm taking the cloak, throwing it off, and here we are doing this fight choreography on top of this big hill, and then like him tackling me down the hill. We had to do that shot like probably a good 15 times.
Ooh.
But you know, it was well worth it. Like, I still remember going to school, sitting down, doing our big like red carpet event that we did, and you know, even though it was hot garbage, I sat there and I was like, you know, I love it. I love like absolutely every cheeseball aspect of what we've done. So, but yeah, you got to start somewhere.
All right, so let's go ahead and go on to the photos here. I have it where it's the Joker picture, and then to the right it's the Batman following up with Link, following with Batwoman, Batman, the live movie action Batman, and so on as how it is in order. If you want to pull up Messenger to be able to follow pretty well, we can do that as, you know.
I actually have your Twitch up, so I can see what you've got up.
Okay, so yeah, no, you were already talking about the Joker.
Yeah, you can check out
this one.
Yeah, you can check out my Facebook page to see the full photo set. They're into each individual character, but there's a Deathstroke, Two-Face, Batman, Red Hood, Joker.
Green Arrow?
No Green Arrow.
No Green Arrow.
We talked about doing one. There might be at some point if we, you know, because if we go to actually tackle this web series, we'll probably do updated versions of the posters with a lot higher quality. Again,
you have your old ones, the OG ones, and then here's the new ones. Do you want some of this? Then come get it.
That was the picture you got up now is my interpretation of Keaton's Batman. Glad to see he's back. Got to throw that out there.
Right. And then what got you to do this Batman cosplay right here?
So Michael Keaton growing up, that's the Batman I grew up with.
Not Adam West?
Well, actually, okay. I did grow up with Adam West too. But from the get-go, like, because I grew up with, you know, TV Land, so I watched the Adam West stuff.
Same.
I had the animated, you know, the animated Batman going on with Kevin Conroy. And then we had the Michael Keaton Batman.
Yep.
And sure enough, of course, we had Val Kilmer later on and George Clooney. But you know, that's, believe it or not, it's my wife's favorite Batman movie, which is hilarious. But anyways, I've always, you know, the Tim Burton Michael Keaton Batman is my heart.
The one with the bat nipples and everything.
No, not that one.
No, not that one. Okay.
No. That's that came in Batman Forever. So that's
okay. I was like, hold on. The one dangerous thing. Here's my Batman credit card as well.
Yeah.
Really?
But no, Michael Keaton is still, even though I'm a big fan of Ben Affleck, but anyways, Michael Keaton at its core, you know, that's what really drove me to Batman. Because, you know, I wasn't into comics until I was about 15, 16 years old. So, you know, growing up, I was a big fan of Batman. It was mainly because of Michael Keaton.
All right. And then we see the Link. I almost said Zelda. I will admit that. And I'm like, no, I'm a Zelda fan. I'm like, hold up.
Funny story is...
everybody thought it was Zelda.
Yeah. I actually went to a baseball game, and I had a kid calling me Link. Actually, sorry, Scratch, he was calling me Zelda because he thought that was the character's name. And me being the nerd that I was like, no, that's Link. You got that wrong. But the whole time he's like, look, Mom, that's, Zelda. And then he started correcting himself. That's Link. But, I tell people about that, and they're like, at that time, they're like, dude, you do look like Link. My hair was a lot blonder. They're like, you've got a longer nose, you got pointy ears, you straight up look like an elf. And I was like, all right. So I ended up ordering that costume out of shits and giggles. I didn't wear it anywhere. I was like, I cut up a wig, got that wig like that, and I ended up sending it to people, and I was like, there, I'm dressed up as Link. Are you happy? And they're like, oh my gosh, man, like, you really should do that. And I haven't touched it since. I haven't touched it.
You should! Like, dude, like, you look more like the Twilight Princess version of Link's.
Yeah, I think that's the outfit that was. But I might, I might add that to the list. Right now I've got a few projects going on where it involves my beard, so...
I know that.
although, it's sad because I'm going to be shaving it soon.
Gotta love it when we don't love it when we're shaving, but now, like, mine's starting to come in more, like, right up here, and I'm like, it's gonna connect eventually. I'm like, let's go!
Yeah, for a hint, there's a movie that comes out on the 4th that I will be shaved for.
Oh.
So.
All right, so then following up here, we've got, this is the Batman from the Justice League live action series, and before that it would have been the trilogy Batman leading up to that for the more heavier armor style because he was sick and tired of dogs ripping him a new one and being shot at.
Well, this was actually inspired by the Ben Affleck one, so Dawn of Justice and Justice League.
Yeah.
And then that's my wife in the Batgirl outfit that we did based on that kind of aesthetic.
All right.
That was my version 1 bat suit for that style. So it was a fun thing to play with. The utility belt was made out of foam. The gauntlets are made out of foam and fake leather. The suit is actually textured like in the film. Actually, both of our suits are. And my wife's cowl is the Dark Knight, so the Christian Bale Batman cowl, but with the nose cut out.
Okay. Yeah. All right. And then going on to next here, we've got such as the live action of Batman vs. Superman.
Yep. Yes, that's the nightmare sequence. So I actually threw that together for another job thing I had. So there was a I don't think I see people cosplay this version of Batman, even though it's been out for a while. Rare. It's like a dime a dozen. Oh, really?
Yeah, or like around here, yeah, like in the Illinois area. Like, I'll see it once in a while, but it's going to be at the bigger convention. You'll see, like, maybe a few here and there, but, like, over time at anime conventions, you don't really see this Batman out there.
Yeah, I threw this one. I had the cowl on hand, and I essentially threw this one together in a weekend for this thing that we were doing at work. So
I might want to try and get one.
Yeah.
All right. So then going to the next. This would be, let me guess. Is this a werewolf and or beast from X-Men kind of put together?
So this was my first attempt with foam latex mask.
Okay.
It's supposed to be Hank, Beast. This was the clearest picture. This is an old picture. This picture is almost 15, 16 years old.
Wow. And you don't look like you gained any weight since then, my dude.
Oh, I feel like it.
It's called age.
I appreciate that, but But no, that's a foam latex. It's actually a lion type mask, but it is kind of like along the werewolf kind of lines because it is human-esque. But I had bought that in the base costume mask. It was actually originally like skin colored. I had gotten that from a store in Kingston, Ontario.
Okay.
And I had to glue it to my face.
Oh, I know how those are. Don't have facial hair. You'll have a good wax on, wax off.
Yeah. And so I glued that to my face. I painted the entire thing blue. My mom is a hairstylist by trade, so she actually put hair extensions in.
Bless her heart. Bless her heart for that one. That looks really good, honestly.
She put glue all the way through my hair. And I actually went and got fake nails, and I put fake nails on and did everything up.
Best advice for nails? Everybody's like, oh, I got to paint them while they're on them. And I've worked at Spirit Halloween, and sorry for the interruption, but I tell people this. Paint the nails before you put them on.
Yeah, that would have been fantastic advice.
So many people don't think that. And I'm like, no, like straight up, just paint them in. I have so many people, females, that come in from Spirit Halloween at the time I was working, and they're like, I'm trying to find nails that are kind of like this. I'm like, are you going to paint them? Yeah, after I get them on, I was like, why don't you paint them beforehand? And it's just always that epiphany, like, why did I think of that? I was like, I know, I just thought of it on the spot.
But this one I went pretty all out. I had the individual fangs in that I glued in. I mean, it's hard to see it because it is an old blurry picture, but I had werewolf contacts in as well.
You can kind of see it more in the right side of the picture right here.
Yeah, but I wore like a lab coat, I wore a lab coat to work, and my boss, I wore this I was actually working at Walmart at the time, and I was working overnights, and I wore that all night at work. And I still remember the store manager coming in and being like, what in the actual heck? I remember he walked by the aisle and then he backtracked and he stood there for a second because he had zero clue of who the heck he was looking at. He was an employee, but he had obviously no idea.
Hey, you matched the outfit too.
Yeah.
Why so blue, man? Why so blue?
It was a good time. Good time.
All right.
Yeah.
So
I'll probably revisit that level of costume again at some point.
Right, and then I see your Solid Snake from Metal Gear. Was it 4 or 5?
That's actually Slade.
Oh, Slade. Okay.
That was my first attempt at Slade. Again,
it's because brown hair threw me off here.
Yeah. That was about another 15 years ago. Yeah.
Okay, I'm starting to see it more now because I'm like, oh wait, Snake don't have sword at the moment.
Yeah. No, that was when I was really starting to like experiment with just throwing stuff together. Like I have totes and totes of stuff.
I believe it, my dude. And then following up after that with this one, we've got Red Hood.
Mm-hmm. That was my initial Red Hood. That's the style that we used for the poster that you can find.
All right.
I'll be revisiting that one actually in probably the next year or so.
All right. And then moving on to your Green Arrow here.
Yeah. So that's my version 1 Green Arrow. Since then, I now have I have 6 different Green Arrow outfits.
Hey, he's a millionaire that needs another outfit in case one gets ripped a new one. Hey, I got you.
By the end of this year, I'll probably be up to 10.
Oh.
I'm really getting into. I've got all the Arrow, like the show outfits. I'm starting to dive into the more comic and in the Injustice Games versions of the.
We get the Robin Hood looking one. I'd love to see that.
That's on the list. That is on the list. So, the Green Oliver Queen's actually my favorite DC character.
Right.
As you can see, also my son's name is actually Oliver.
I wonder what influenced that.
Yeah. Right? But yeah, no, I plan on having eventually like a straight up Arrow cave setup where I'll have a few suits on display. Actually, before I Star Wars out my office, I used to have my Green Arrow outfit on a mannequin behind me,
Ooh.
and then the Captain America suit I had at the time behind me, and then
Fun enough, Dollar Tree, if you've got one near you, check out their hand soaps. They just got a whole slew of Baby Yoda hand soap.
really,
Yeah, I just bought one
oh,
for one of my roommates that doesn't like Baby Yoda, but he likes Star Wars like hardcore, and I'm just like, here you go.
I know.
But
Yeah, Green Arrow is a very big focus for me this year. So.
boy, you look so underfed in this photo, but like the face, like, hey ladies, how you doing? So, I honestly, I'll take a wild guess. Is this something from the Wild West, or is this more of the guy who kind of time travels with the whole like idea from the DC universe that's a cowboy, but he has a little messed up face part? Or who is this character in general right here? It isn't Zorro, because you need the mask, you need the hat, you need the cape, and the on guard.
This one, believe it or not, even though it originated from a character from something, it ended up being an original character.
Okay.
So it actually originated, and for those that are familiar with the show, they might recognize the vest, but in the pants, but Deadwood.
Downward.
So Timothy Oliphant plays the sheriff in Deadwood, and he had a very specific type of double-breasted vest that he had, and I absolutely loved his character in Deadwood. And my buddies and I were penning a Western short film at the time, so I ended up using that character as huge inspiration for the stylization of the character that we ended up doing. I honestly can't remember this character's name. It was so long ago.
It was the Western character.
Yeah, I remember the short film was called Maple Ridge. But yeah, it was really, really fun. I did a whole photo shoot with this character.
Okay.
And it's actually on my Facebook page. It was really, really fun to do.
All right, and then you've got a version of Wolverine, Batman looking stuff right here. What got you doing this one? Because I can clearly see the yellow with the Batman. This is a very specific character because I remember it from like HeroClix. Like it was a crossover at time.
Close. I can see why you'd think that. What this is actually my nightmare variation of Catman.
Okay.
So, which is on my agenda for this year. So basically, not that, but I'm going to be doing a.
So many people are going to call you Batman.
What's that?
People are going to say, "Hey, Batman."
Oh, yeah, they're gonna. I'm ready for it, but I'm going to be doing a Snyderverse inspired Catman head to toe cosplay. I've got my muscle suit ready to go. I've got my body suit ready to go to glue to it. I still have that cowl. I'm going to be using the same cowl, but it's going to be more comic looking, so it's going to be a little bit more recognizable. But that was just a fun one I did. Again, threw that together in a weekend. Basically took, I had a latex chest piece, glued it to a yellow shirt I had, brushed in the muscle detail to accent it. I had a flawed Batman emblem, so I cut it up so I had the texture of the claw emblem that Catman has, and then I threw everything else together.
I'm gonna have to hit you up sometime for something.
Yeah, feel free.
And then and then you've got overly muscled Batman with Easter Bunny. I gotta know the story of this one, man. This is cool as hell.
So this is actually my custom Dark Knight trilogy Batman outfit I had. I had gotten it from Gotham City FX at the time. But I had wanted, this was actually a suit we were going to use as one of the flashback suits in the fan series we were going to shoot.
Yeah.
But I ended up keeping it, and I was working at Toys R Us, and they had a kids event they were doing. And it was at Easter, and they were like, hey, you can dress up in a costume. So I was like, all right, I'll show up as Batman. And then I said that literally nobody I work with, I don't think, knew to the extent of what costume I had. So I ended up showing up at work with this big duffel bag, and they're like, "What in the frig is this?"
Where'd you bring it?
So I ended up throwing this on, and everybody had a blast. Well, again, like I said, this was during Easter, and they're like, "You got to go down and get a picture with the Easter Bunny. You got it." So I went down, got a picture with the Easter Bunny, and they ended up, saying, "Hey, look." They ended up keeping a picture and posting it there at the where they had the Easter Bunny set up. And they're like, "Look, this Easter Bunny works with Batman, so you better behave."
And then
it was a good time. Yeah, really, really good time. Again, it was really fun to see, not just kids, but adults. Kids and adults alike were very, very happy with it.
I assume, is this your kid?
Yes, that's my son Oliver. Yeah. I molded and casted his helmet for him. We actually went to Goodwill and bought his costume for like $2. So then I took the stuffing out of the star, 3D printed him a new star. I gave him an actual pouches and a belt buckle and just kind of upgraded his costume for him.
Dude, that's dope. That's honestly really dope. You could even go to like Walmart camping section for buckles and straps and stuff. And a lot of people don't realize. I'm like, yeah, where do you think I got mine?
Yeah. You can go to Walmart or Goodwill or whatever, get a cheap costume, and if you put a little bit of effort into it, you can make those look pretty snazzy.
Right. And then going on, I see that you have a Kylo Ren and Junior Kylo Ren cosplay going on here.
Yeah, so my son's favorite Star Wars character is Kylo Ren. I didn't have a working 3D printer at the time.
Yeah.
So I went out and bought one of those cheap plastic face masks, like the kids' ones.
Yeah.
And I made a foam back to the helmet and then bondoed the crap out of that foam.
Just like crazy.
Basically built my son a Kylo Ren helmet from scratch.
Like even times like that, I'll even say I'll get some moldable plastic pellets now.
Yeah, those are really handy too.
And then foam clay is another handy thing as well, like hardcore now.
Yeah.
Instead of a bunch of hot glue and foam.
Oh, yeah, and you can get like that, like sculpting foam too.
Yeah.
There's some really neat stuff out there.
And then we're getting close to the end, but let's go ahead and get some of these other ones here. Captain Canada?
Captain Canada, yeah. Yeah, that was fun. I'm actually in the process of doing my version 2 about, 10 years later.
And then let's go with the next one. We got a Captain Jack Sparrow cosplayer.
Yeah, that's essentially the one that got it all going.
You actually had some alcohol. That's even better.
Yeah, can't do it without alcohol, yeah.
And then we've got a same Green Arrow from earlier.
Yeah. But yeah, I really didn't think I could pull off Green Arrow.
What you did.
Oh, thank you. But I was glad that it came out decently, so I was like, you know what? He's my favorite character. Let's just go ham. So
and then you got all the different types of Batmans right here. But I would say let's go ahead and focus on. Is this your wife and you? With the Catwoman and you?
Oh, there we go. Yeah. So that's my wife and I. Yeah, we're gonna be revisiting Catwoman very soon. Because of the new film coming out. So
and I love the masks that you both have. Honestly, both of them fantastic work here.
Thanks. Yeah, I didn't make those.
They're still good, regardless.
The one on the right I got from Gotham City Effects, I believe.
There we go. Get a link for that one here later on as well, so
they're not a thing anymore.
Then never mind.
The cowl, the Batman cowl, I don't remember.
All right, and then last few here, just so that people can see them. And see, there's a lot of things, as I've even gone, say on Wish, you could get like biker armor, or go to like Walmart and get like softball equipment stuff to actually use as, all that fun stuff. But all right, let's go ahead and get to social media parts here. If you'd like to talk about those real quick that you have and run business, charities, we can make sure to get those in the description. But tell a little bit about your social medias.
So yeah, as I mentioned, I'm the Rustic Nerd Dad. So I've got a Facebook page there. You can find me on Facebook, TikTok, Instagram. I do have a Twitch. I don't use it yet.
Yet.
Yes. I mean, once I get to streaming more often again, because I do game. You can find me on any of those, and if you have questions, on my YouTube channel, again, the Rustic Nerd Dad, you can actually find a couple how-to videos, which I'll be doing more in the future once I have a proper setup. But I'm doing a lot of build videos on there, so definitely feel free to check that out. But I'm very open, so whenever somebody's got a question, I'm more than happy to answer it. And if they need help, I'm more than happy to help.
There we go.
But yeah, you can find me on any of those. I'm doing my best to help the cosplay community in whatever way I can.
There we go. Honestly, anything helps with anybody that comes into it, even people that have been in it. Even I'm still learning stuff I didn't know how to do. If you ask me to do silicone, I'll be like this. Liquid latex, here you go.
Yeah. Hey, again, one thing that I even considered doing was, online classes,
Skillshare.
Do like you can buy a $30 silicone kit and a $30 urethane rubber kit. Let's do like a couple hour online class, and I'll walk you through how to do it.
There we go, my dude.
I really, there's a lot of tools that people could be using that they don't know they could.
Oh, you could easily take cornflakes with like liquid latex or spirit gum, put it on your face, go over it with some actual like makeup, and it looks like zombie flesh.
There's so much out there. Even like a sharing aspect. I think that there's things that as a cosplay community that we all can do. Again, just to help each other.
Yeah. And if you're hearing a lot of thumping upstairs, it's the dog having the zoomies right now.
I'm used to hearing my own background noise.
But all right, Tyler. Thank you for coming on here. Honestly, I appreciate your time, but we gotta hurry up and wrap this up. And it's like, the next one's coming. Oh no.
Yeah. No, thank you, Austin. And I look forward to watching more of these and watching more of the interviews. So.
All right. If you guys can all follow up on his social media links, same as mine. If you guys give a like, share to all the stuff that we provide here, take a look at the links below. I'll make sure that we get the video up. I will make sure the video is uploaded as soon as possible on YouTube. But until then, it is on Twitch for everybody to see. Other than that, I'd say have a good day. And Tyler, you have anything else to say real quick?
Actually, yeah. More importantly about the social media too, real quick, I'm going to be doing giveaways soon.
There we go, guys and gals and everybody of all in things in between, whatever you want to be called.
Yeah. Fun stuff.
All fun stuff, everyone. Thank you for tuning in, and stay tuned in for other cosplayers coming up here shortly on today's live streams. Other than that, sign out, peace, and have a goodie.
See ya.
All right. And doo-doo.